Hey everybody, welcome back around to the blog and grill. Happy New Year here from Doug here on Doug's Sports Blog and Grill. It is January 6th, 2014. We got a lot of sports to talk about for sure. We got Wild Card Weekend as we'll go around the Shield. Also talk a little bit about the BCS Title Game. I'll give you my key matchup, my pick, and why this bowl game just isn't very exciting at all. Also have my New York sports update for you and a look on to what will be going on the rest of the week on the blog, so stay tuned right here. And first, let's get to Wild Card Weekend. We'll start with the first game of the weekend. The Chiefs taking on the Colts. This was quite the game for sure. The Colts trailed by as many as 28 in the second half. And really, we saw Andrew Luck play good, come back from having 3 interceptions. We saw Alex Smith probably play one of his best games he's played in his whole career. He threw for 4 touchdowns, really outplayed Andrew Luck. But it was really the questionable play call. Up by 28, they didn't have Jamal Charles. They lost Niles Davis later on, but really the Chiefs just kept running and running and running. But the key play came down to a second down play. Robert Mathis came off the edge to hit Alex Smith around the Indianapolis 40. Alex Smith got rid of it, intentional grounding, put him back for sure. If he can hit Cyrus Brown on the Cyrus Bean. Cyrus Gray. If he can hit Cyrus Gray right on the in route, I mean, if he can hit him on the screen pass, that'll set him up for a game-winning field goal, and they probably would have won the game, and they'd be moving on right now. But now you got questions about Alex Smith, questions about Andy Reid. I really think this game is really just goes to show that even a bad team from a year ago is not going to be that great. They're still going to have some fundamental issues in big games, and that's what we saw. We saw a team overperforming all year, really played well all year, but just couldn't get the big win late, and it was because of play call. Next game was the Saints. So that'll be the Colts advancing on to take on the Patriots on Saturday night, I do believe. Saints and Eagles was the Saturday night game. This game was exciting to watch as well. We saw Drew Brees. What I took away with it was Drew Brees really didn't play that great. They got a big lift from Mark Ingram, who gave him 97 yards rushing with Pierre Thomas out with an injury. Jimmy Graham, not much of a factor. He was the top receiver with 44 receiving yards. But Drew Brees only threw for 250 yards and a touchdown. Nick Foles played well. LaShawn McCoy couldn't really get it going. The key, I think, here was Rob Ryan's defense really stood up, played well. And the kicker, Shane Graham, who they just picked up, played well, hit some big kicks. And I just want to say that I said way back when that Nick Foles would be the guy to run the Chip Kelly offense because he can complete the short passes. Nick Foles has proved that, and I think Foles and Kelly are going to be a good combination for years to come in this division if Chip Kelly sticks around in Philadelphia. So the Saints set themselves up for a rematch with the Seahawks in Seattle on Saturday as well. Chargers and Bengals. My Bengals going down 27-10. Phillip Rivers played pretty good, I guess. He wasn't great. He only threw for 128 yards, 1 touchdown. Ronnie Brown ran the ball effectively. Just not a very good game for the Cincinnati Bengals. They turn it over. Dalton throws 2 inadvertent picks. Gio Bernard has the fumble. Andy Dalton has the fumble. Just a bad game all around. But I just want to say, good season for the Bengals. Marvin Lewis should be back. They need to give Andy Dalton another shot at this because I think we saw some strides from him this year. I mean, you cannot say a guy that has gotten your team to the playoffs 3 consecutive years, you're just going to get rid of him and bring in a rookie? I mean, come on. Andy Dalton's played well. He's been consistent, either good or bad. If he has a good game, though, he is one of the top 10 quarterbacks, I think, in the National Football League, and he can get it done at the highest level. And the final game we saw was the Packers and the 49ers. Kind of a different kind of game, a nice defensive battle, I would say. 2 teams that really played better defense than they played all year, especially out of the Green Bay Packers. And I think right now San Francisco could be one of the top teams. We saw Colin Kaepernick tear apart the Packers once again. He ran for 98 yards. He outran Frank Gore. 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Rodgers really struggled, and I think Rodgers' shoulder is not 100% yet. We saw some big plays late by Kaepernick using his legs. Phil Dawson, of course, hitting a big field goal late, and everybody's saying it was almost blocked. The guy was offsides anyways. They would have called it back anyways. But I think the interesting thing was how much they ran the ball. Eddie Lacy, they carried the ball 31 times, only attempted 26 passes. Really tried to set the tempo. Eddie Lacy couldn't really get going. Rodgers didn't look great. He was getting pass rush big time as well. So I think it's going to be interesting to see. I think the Packers need to go out and get some more weapons, get some more wide receiving options. I know they'll have Finley back off his injury. Jordy Nelson will be back, Randall Cobb. So it'll be an interesting offseason for the Packers. And for the 49ers, they're looking solid. They're going into a big game, which I think they can win in Carolina if they play like they did before. And it's going to be a fun game to watch on Sunday between the 49ers and the Panthers. All right, time to break down the BCS title game tonight. We'll see number 2 Auburn take on number 1 Florida State. And really no hype around this game. I even forgot it was on. I thought it was on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. It's not. I mean, it's going to be a good game to watch for sure, but just not a very exciting game. We've seen ticket sales. Tickets are still available. Tickets have dropped below face value. Just not a lot of, I mean, you get 2 good programs, both from the South, so you're not getting a lot of nationwide media around it. You're getting a lot of Southern media. The key matchup I think I'm going to be watching is Trey Mason and the quarterback Marshall against the Florida State linebackers in their running game. We've seen Florida State struggle to stop the run, and we'll see what they can do tonight, but that's the key matchup. If they can stop them, I think they'll win the game. And I got Florida State winning this one 38-28, and Jameis Winston really showing that he is the top quarterback in college football right now. All right, before we go, time for our New York sports update. Syracuse Hoops got 2 wins last week, one against Eastern Michigan and one in their ACC opener against Miami. That was a tough game to watch. They really struggled. Miami slowed them down a lot. That really got into their heads. Trevor Cooney didn't shoot well. They faced it against a tough matchup zone. And Miami does have some size, so that was a tough matchup for Syracuse. They'll play them again in a couple of weeks. Syracuse this week, they'll take on Virginia Tech on Tuesday in Blacksburg, and then they'll be home at the Dome on Saturday taking on North Carolina. Knicks Hoops. Knicks go 2-1 on their Texas Triangle road trip. They take down the Mavericks and the Spurs, lose a close one to the Rockets. Anthony looked great last night, and we're starting to see him get it going. They got some better point guard play from Udrih and Murray, so we'll see what happens there. And also, I just want to talk briefly about this news of a Melo trade. Carmelo Anthony reportedly in trade talks being sent to the Clippers for Blake Griffin. I don't think it'll go through. There's too much money, I think, riding on Carmelo. And I think they still like Griffin, and I think they want to keep him around because he's young. Anthony's kind of maxed out at his ceiling. Griffin still could have some ceiling to be had. We'll see what happens, but I don't see this trade going through at this point. All right, so we're back on Wednesday. We'll talk some more NBA. I'm going to give you my top 3 BCS memories as we say goodbye to the BCS tonight. Also, we'll talk about the new Texas football coach, Charlie Strong. Follow me on Twitter, YankeeBaller415. Comment, question, subscribe to my page. Thanks for tuning in to the blog and grill. One quick note, Syracuse stays at number 2 in the AP poll. Arizona in at number 1. Thanks for tuning in. I will see you on Wednesday. Have a good week and Happy New Year.